thank you for joining. And before we get really into the webinar, I just want to remind everyone that I'm going to be keeping you all muted just to cut down on background noise while we have the webinar. But if you have any questions, as I'm sure you can already see, there is a chat box, and some people are already utilizing it, which is awesome. So feel free to type your questions or comments in there, and there will definitely be questions at the end of the webinar, or definitely time for questions at the end of the webinar. So don't hesitate to ask then too, because I'll unmute everyone. But you can also just type them in the chat box. So before we get started, we're going to just be going over Turkeypalooza and what it is. And then we're going to be hearing from Michelle at YouGiveGoods, which is a really amazing online platform where you can fundraise or you can have an online food drive. And then we're going to be hearing from Riya at Share Our Strength, and she's going to be talking about a potential partnership between Campus Kitchens and Share Our Strength. And then we're going to hear from a couple Turkeypalooza experts, and I'm going to share some resources and talk for a quick minute about reporting, and then we'll have time for questions. So yeah, so why don't we go ahead and get started. So what is Turkeypalooza? It's a campus kitchen tradition where campus kitchens go above and beyond for their normal client agencies during the holidays. It's a time where we just try and give back to the community and do something a little extra for our clients. And it's a network-wide event. So Raise the Dough is the other network-wide event, although Turkeypalooza is not a competition like Raise the Dough is. Most campus kitchens, or a lot of campus kitchens, I should say, host a Thanksgiving meal, but some do something totally different. It really just kind of depends on what your client agencies want. So a few ideas. So like I said, some serve a traditional Thanksgiving dinner to clients individually, or they'll do one big meal together. Some also just create a meal that their clients might be interested in. So maybe a lot of the clients aren't crazy about having turkey and mashed potatoes around Thanksgiving. So just kind of seeing what your clients want and doing something special for them. You can also combine your efforts with Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, which is November 12th through the 20th. And I have some resources about that I'm going to be putting up on the pantry, which I'll get to in a little bit. But that's also like a great way to have kind of a combined campaign on campus. You could also do a grocery bag that you give to your clients. You can do a Bring Your Turkey to Work Day where you ask professors and staff and students to bring in turkeys to donate to client agencies. You can also then, the campus kitchen can take those turkeys that are donated and cook them for client agencies as well. You can have a canned food drive. I know a lot of campus kitchens have done that in the past, and that's something I'll be going over a little bit. So there's a ton of different options, and really it's just kind of assessing what your client agencies, what they need and really what they want around the holidays. So that's just kind of a really brief overview of Turkeypalooza. And now we're going to be hearing from Michelle at YouGiveGoods. So Michelle, I'm just going to unmute you.
Okay.
All right. You should be good.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Okay. Did you click on that link? Is that able to come up? Okay. I'm just waiting to see it real quick. Okay, perfect. All right. So hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be able to join your call again today. I just wanted to, some of you may be familiar with the YouGiveGoods site, some may be new to us. Basically, the bottom line is if you're collecting canned goods or any type of goods for your campus kitchen, you can run a free online drive. This page provides basically a free marketing page for you to talk about your cause. At the top, you can see I just created a demo to show you what one looks like. So you would create your own title on the top, what your timing is. This one, we have October 17th through November 7th. Then you have a slogan. You can put information under that, a link to your site, and then a goal. So we're just going to click on that Shop Now, Tyler. So there's 2 pages on the drive. The second page includes all the items that you can raise online. So again, this is a way for you to reach more supporters. We all know the power of social media these days, and I think the way that you can reach more supporters is definitely setting up something online. So if a supporter of yours can't bring in a case of corn, they can't lug it in, well, they can also have a convenient option of shopping for it online. They don't pay tax or shipping. They purchase it. It's a very transparent process, and then at the end of the drive, we ship all donated food items directly to your pantry. So the nice thing about it is you can track the donations live online throughout your drive, and I can send you summary reporting at the end to show the impact that you've made with your online drive as far as products, in total what was raised and what was raised in pounds, items, dollars, whatever information you need. I can even supply you with the supporters and their email addresses if you'd like to send them each a personal thanks. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is if you have any organizations on campus or businesses that like to support you, this is another great resource to offer to them because it's a quick, fast way for them to shoot it out an email blast to all of their supporters to jump on board and help support you. And Tyler mentioned we have a lot of new fun things this year for holidays. We have bracelets that I can send you. Let's say, you know, you're setting up maybe a booth or a table and you have food collections and someone's standing there. We have a mobile app where you can have a quick $5 to $10 food donation. They can purchase something and you can give them a bracelet that says, I gave today, which is just something kind of fun. We have some t-shirts I can send out just to those volunteers that are working those booths or tables. And again, you can use the bracelets for anything. I can send 25 to each school, and whatever supporters are helping you, you can hand out that bracelet. So it's just another extra little fun gift to show that they gave today. I think that's pretty much it. The important thing I just wanted to mention this year, as opposed to last year, the timing is a little tight, so we do have a lot of holiday items. I just ask if you're running a drive with us to try to stick to the items in what we already have online. So if you go to the very bottom of the page, Tyler, I just want to show them one thing. So all you would have to type in is YouGiveGoods.com, and at the very bottom of this page there's a purple bar, and you don't have to click, well, you can click on it. Under Get Started you see Browse Our Products. Just click on that, and that shows all the items that you can raise for your campus kitchen pantry. So you can see we have fresh produce, healthy choices, we have soup kitchen, and holiday items. So if you can stick to those items, that would be really helpful for us because we have a distribution center that holds over thousands and thousands of each of these items. When we have to custom order sometimes, it makes it a little difficult, especially for timing purposes. And then lastly, any supporter that comes to the YouGiveGoods site and purchases something, immediately they get a tax receipt showing that they've made that donation to charity, and it's being donated to Campus Kitchens projects, so they get an immediate tax receipt, which is nice for tax purposes. And then, like I said, at the end of the drive, all goods are shipped directly to your food pantry. I think I've covered everything, Tyler.
Awesome, thank you. And like Michelle said, we're wanting to do the fundraising a little bit earlier this year to ensure that everyone gets the food in time. So the week that I have set aside for it is October 31st to November 7th. You can definitely start before October 31st, but you do have to sign an MOU, which is a Memorandum of Understanding, to fundraise for your campus kitchen as part of CKP. And that's going to be due by Friday, October 28th, but if you get that in earlier, then you can go ahead and start and we'll get you set up. Yeah, does anyone have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone, just while Michelle's still on the line here.
Tyler, will you send the MOU out to us?
Yeah, so that is actually on the pantry already, and I can show you guys where that is, but I can send it out after the webinar, and I can also send this link that we just went over and the presentation.
Great.
Any other questions? Tyler, it's actually Michelle. If anyone wants to set up a drive, it literally takes 5 minutes. You would prefer for them to come through you to do that, correct?
Yes, yeah. So if you are interested, definitely come through me, send me an email and let me know. And it's, like Michelle said, it's super easy. We can do it for you. but we just have to make sure that you sign that MOU, so that's kind of why it's important to come through me first, and just so I know who's using it, and I can kind of be the contact between you guys and Michelle.
Great.
And if anyone has any questions about this afterwards, you can email me, and yeah, we can look into it.
Thanks so much.
So thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Thank you. Do you want me to stick around for any questions, or you can just shoot me an email if anyone at the end? What's best for you?
Yeah. I
Okay.
can just send you an email at the end. But thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Okay. So now we're going to hear from Riya. So
hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes. All right.
Hello? Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I am just going to go ahead and give a little bit of an overview of who I am and what the Drive to Hunger Awareness is. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to write it in the chat box, or I can wait a little bit afterwards. But my name is Riya Rahman. I work at No Kid Hungry as a youth engagement coordinator. And before that, I actually worked at Baylor. I was a student there, and I worked for the Texas Hunger Initiative there for a couple of years. And this is where the Drive to Hunger Awareness really started. As a student, I learned about domestic hunger the summer after my sophomore year of college, and I was really struck learning about how many people it really affects. And I realized very quickly that students could have a stake in this issue. Hunger exists in every community, but I felt like most of my peers weren't aware that it affected so many, and so I really wanted to do something to raise hunger awareness on college campuses. So that's how the Drive to Hunger Awareness came about. There were already students working to end hunger on my campus and in the Waco community, and so I kind of wanted to leverage that and create a hunger awareness forum. So I actually ended up partnering with my local campus kitchens 2 years ago. We created an event for students by students, and that's what the Drive to Hunger Awareness really is. It's kind of grounded in collaboration. You can tap into existing student organizations and get them involved, and that way they can feel like they share ownership of the event, and then you have more people who are really invested in the issue as a result. The owner's manual that we are promoting with Campus Kitchens is basically a toolkit for you to use to create your own Drive to Hunger Awareness event on your campus, and it's a guide for replicating the event, but it definitely has a lot of freedom to adapt and fit your needs. We definitely understand that each campus is different, each campus kitchens is different, and so we wanted to allow the freedom to kind of adjust and change things. And really, if you have new ideas, you can also incorporate those through the event as well. There's a lot of room for freedom in it. So yeah, so I just kind of want to go into a little bit more detail about what we did when I was at Baylor. The Drive to Hunger Awareness essentially is a food drive and a hunger awareness forum, and so I really wanted students to feel the tangible effect of donating food and having it go to the community. And so we partnered with Campus Kitchens because the organization I was working for was not a direct service organization, so we didn't have the ability to distribute food that Campus Kitchens did, and so we actually partnered with them for Turkeypalooza, which Tyler was talking about earlier. And so they kind of took ownership of the entire food drive, and then I helped support the Hunger Awareness Forum. So we had someone from a local nonprofit talk about hunger just to kind of teach the students that were there what is hunger, what does it look like in our community, in our state, and then we moved on to having students come up and speak about what can you do about it. So we had a volunteer that was volunteering with Campus Kitchen to come out and talk about what did it mean as a student to be able to volunteer on your college campus for this issue, and then what they were doing, what made them want to get involved, and how they felt like they were making a difference. And then We had a student from another local organization called the World Hunger Relief Farm who was actually figuring out a way to distribute vegetables and food deserts through this thing called a veggie van. So she actually talked about what it was like and her experience of volunteering in the community. And then I finished it off with advocacy, because not only have you now learned about hunger and you're learning about how you can help on your campus, in your community, but now you can know how to advocate and help others through advocacy. And so we had a letter writing event and where we were sending letters to your local legislators, and we had a photo booth where people were tweeting to their legislators and saying hunger is an issue I care about and you should be working to make a difference. And so that's what it looked like at Baylor, and we definitely have built it out to be similar through the toolkit, and Tyler can send you all of that information after the call. I'm going to have it sent to her, and so you guys can look at it, go through it, see what works, what doesn't work, what you want to use, what you don't want to use. But yeah, that's just kind of a description of the owner's manual and some of the resources that are provided. And then I am available as a resource to all of y'all if you want to host your own Drive to Hunger awareness event, if you want to do something a little bit different. Please feel free to reach out to me and email me, and I'm more than happy to kind of work with you through that. That's my entire job at Share Strength and Naked Hungry, is just to support young people doing really incredible things. And so I'm happy to help in any which way I can. Okay, I know that was a lot, but I'm done.
Awesome, thank you. And just to add on, if some campus kitchens might be kind of unsure what to do for the first time they're doing like their first Turkeypalooza, and the manual, the owner's manual that Riya made, is really, really helpful, and it's really extensive, and like it would be great for any event as a guide, but especially like something like this, Drive to Hunger Awareness, you can do for Turkeypalooza. So definitely I'm going to send that out with all the other materials that I mentioned after the call, but it's definitely a great kind of thing to do for Turkeypalooza. So I want to encourage everyone to keep that in mind, and Riya and I are both available if anyone has any questions for that. So does anyone have any questions now? I'm going to unmute you guys again for Riya while she's on the call. You can type them or ask them.
Well, that says it's me, but it's not. Unless there's another Mitch online.
Okay, so there's really bad feedback, so I'm actually going to keep you guys muted. So if you have questions, just feel free to type them. But Riya, thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead, and Riya's email is down here also in case you guys didn't see that. But you can reach out to her directly if you have any questions. Okay, so now we're going to hear from the campus kitchen at Northwestern. So Sam.
Hello.
Hi.
So Tyler said, I'm Samantha. I'm the coordinator at the campus kitchen at Northwestern, and I made a few notes just to kind of tell everybody some of the stuff I've learned. This will be my third Turkeypalooza, and I think probably going to go better than the first one, which did not go so well. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and kind of go from there. What we do at Northwestern is a traditional Thanksgiving meal for all of our clients. They have the choice between a grocery bag full of ingredients or a prepared meal for up to 4 people. So for us, that makes a little over 300 meals, Thanksgiving meals, that we give out into the community the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. One of the things we do that makes our life a lot easier is that we actually cook chickens instead of turkeys. I know that sounds a little crazy, but they're a lot smaller, they're a lot easier to cook, and nobody has noticed. So if, you know, the idea of cooking an entire turkey or a turkey breast sounds really daunting to you, I would definitely look into chickens. They're also a little bit less expensive. So you do need to cook more of them, but they have just made our lives a lot easier. Last year, our meat cooking time went from like 12 hours to like 4 hours. So especially if you're kind of tight on kitchen space or tight on oven space, that's really helpful. Something else we've done quite a bit of in the last month or so is started to stockpile things in our freezer that we know will work for Thanksgiving. So kind of any time between the end of September and November, if we get sweet potatoes in from one of the dining halls, those go directly in our freezer. So we have about 6 cans of them ready to go for Thanksgiving. We've also been prepping some butternut squash and some apples just in terms of being able to use those for Thanksgiving. So we don't do pumpkin pie, we actually do a fruit crisp, and we get tons of donations of apples in the fall, like I imagine some of you guys do too. You can also use pears, and we prep them ahead of time and get them in the freezer, so then when we pull them out to prep for Thanksgiving, all we have to do is make the crispy topping and bake them, and it really cuts down on time, and it just makes everything a little bit easier that day of cooking. So we only have one day we can use the kitchen, so we kind of have to maximize our time in there a lot. We have also done a couple food drives. We've done them in front of grocery stores, like you can see in the picture. It's not the best idea in Chicago in November. The last 2 times we've done it, it's been about 10 degrees, and it was really not so fun. So we're working this year with a couple of the fraternities and sororities to hold food drives in their houses, so people can buy some stuff and donate them, and we leave boxes in their lobbies, and then we'll go pick them up, and we're this is the first time we've done that, so we're kind of hoping that'll work out a little bit better, and I don't have to worry about anybody getting frostbite in front of a supermarket. I also, kind of all the things I mentioned, I have recipes for everything, and I'd be happy to share them with Tyler so she can send them all out to you guys if there's anything you want, or if you haven't cooked anything before. I know there's tons of recipes on the pantry as well. They're a really great resource. I know a lot of our students have never cooked a Thanksgiving meal before, and it can be a little bit intimidating, but the recipes are super easy, and everything usually comes out really delicious. We haven't gotten any complaints yet. But yeah, Tyler, was there anything else you wanted me to touch on?
That sounds good. So just wondering about the fraternities and sororities. Do you just find a contact there and reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in partnering?
Yeah, so we actually have quite a few members of our leadership team who are also involved in Greek life. So we're actually using them as a resource. They volunteered to do it with their groups. So that's a really good way. We find that a lot of the Greek life, especially on our campus, need philanthropy hours. So this can go towards that. So that's a really good way to approach it if you don't have anyone on your leadership team. Kind of send out some feeler emails and, do you have people that need hours? Would you like to help us do this? We've gotten a really good response from everybody.
Awesome. Thanks. Does anyone else have any questions for Samantha? I'm just going to keep you guys muted because the feedback was pretty bad, so just if you could type them in the chat box. And I think she'll be on for the rest of the call, so we can also always ask them at the end if you come up with something as we keep talking. So thank you for sharing, Samantha.
No problem.
And so now we're going to hear from Jenny. And Jenny, I'm going to unmute you.
Time of year. Oh, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Tyler, can you hear me?
Okay, sorry everyone. We're just having some technical difficulties, but we should be able to figure it out in just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So Jenny's going to be calling in, Jenny Bird is going to be calling in and back in because we're just having some technical difficulties. But I also just wanted to quickly mention Emily, who is the kitchen coordinator at Gonzaga University out in Washington State, couldn't make it today, but she also does a grocery store food drive in front of the grocery store. And one thing just to add on to like what Samantha did, it's a little bit warmer out in Spokane, so they do stand in front of the grocery store, and they got permission from their local grocery stores, and they made little flyers that they give out that has a list of everything that they need for their to cook their meal. So that's just another tip. If that is something that you want to do, just contact the grocery store just to make sure it's okay. And then she always has student volunteers stand out on Sundays, and they have the flyers that they give out. Okay, sorry guys, we're just having some technical difficulties. If everyone could please mute themselves, because then I have to unmute everyone, so just to cut down on background noise. So all right. So Jenny, you should be able to go now.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry about that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I'm glad to be here to talk about Turkeypalooza, one of my favorite things of the whole year. And this will be my 8th Turkeypalooza, and I definitely have some battle scars. There have been some bad ones, but it does go more smoothly. And I have a few tips that may help you. Just really quickly, I'll tell you what we do here at SLU. We have a campus food drive. Bring your turkey to work day. We concentrate on faculty and staff at the university, send out a list of things that we need, turkey fixings, turkeys themselves, potatoes, all the ingredients you would need for, a nice big holiday meal. And then we do holiday meals for 400 of our clients. We actually do double portions and do everything, potatoes, sweet potatoes, turkey, stuffing, everything you can imagine, cranberry pie, everything. And then we do baskets. So we end up kind of working with an agency and saying, hey, we'll do some baskets for you, but we can't guarantee a number. And that gives us a lot of flexibility. We don't promise anything, but usually we have enough leftover turkeys and ingredients that we can do up to 50 baskets for clients. So that's what we do. We've done also a food drive at a grocery store. Last year we used the baseball team. They wore their uniforms, went to the grocery store. We worked it out with the grocery store in advance. They had lists of ingredient items that we would be using, and we got a whole bunch, and a lot of cash donations as well. So I guess my top tips for Turkeypalooza, Samantha mentioned the difficulty of cooking turkeys. That is a real thing that a lot of kitchens run into. So if you haven't done it before, you need to think about pulling them far in advance so they have plenty of time to defrost. Also possibly breaking them down prior to cooking. It takes a long time to cook a whole turkey. You can't fit that many of them in the oven at once. So what we've done at SLU is we do cut them up into pieces and then cook all the legs on one tray and all the thighs on one tray, etc. Leave a lot of time for prep shifts, so you can have, you're not cooking all of the Thanksgiving items together at once. You do, chopping of your bread and, making of your pumpkin pie filling and your pie crust far in advance, and then, or a day or two in advance, and then the final products come together on the last day. So really good planning is important. And then the other thing I would say is, you kind of want to harness all the good energy that comes around the holidays. And if you guys are the hunger agent or the hunger organization on your campus, people want to help. They're feeling good, they're ready for the holidays, and if you can kind of use this as a visibility thing for your campus kitchen and maybe a morale building thing for your LT. Some kitchens do like pie baking shifts. It can just be a really good event for your kitchen as a whole and for your clients, of course. Just don't overcommit. I could think of a cautionary tale, a kitchen that had never really done Turkeypalooza, so they promised turkeys to 100 clients, and after, a few days before they were supposed to give the turkeys out, they had under a dozen turkeys. So don't overcommit, but until if you haven't done it before, but also do something kind of, on the other hand, you do want to kind of swing for the fences and make a splash. Do something that's going to be a lot of fun and a nice treat for your clients if they always get the same kinds of foods from you. Just something a little bit different. So that's what I would say about Turkeypalooza.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? You guys are unmuted, so feel free to ask them. This is Laura in the National Office. I don't have a question, but I have another tip that kind of really gets at what Jenny and Samantha were also mentioning, which is from the campus kitchen at UMass Boston. They don't use turkeys at all. They don't cook chickens either. Typically, they get gift cards donated, and they pit all the departments on campus against each other in a gift card drive, and they do a grocery bag for their clients with a gift card for a turkey instead of having to get all those turkeys in. Great, thanks. And then we had one question in the chat box saying, does anyone have any more ideas for fundraisers or food raisers leading up to Turkeypalooza? So if anyone's done anything different besides what we've talked about, please feel free to share. You can also just, I'll chime in, you can also just host a canned food drive on campus. I think partnering, with what Sam said, partnering with a sorority or fraternity is a really great way to do that. But you could also find another organization that's kind of service focused and partner with them as well. But any other suggestions? And you guys can feel free to type stuff in the chat box as well. I'm going to go back to muting everyone. And then just a couple other tips from Gonzaga. One thing that Emily made sure to tell me is that they don't do pies, pumpkin pies, because they're just a little too hard. So instead they make pumpkin cookies because they travel way easier. And Emily also does all the cooking on the Saturday before Thanksgiving and then delivers that Sunday. So some people use the full week before, but it might just depend on kind of what your university schedule is. and your access to volunteers. So you can also do stuff the weekend before or the week leading up to Thanksgiving. One other thing that she does is she's partnered up with the Alternative Spring Break program at Gonzaga University, and they partner so that each shift is staffed by students participating in alternative breaks, and they do that like well before Turkeypalooza. So that's something that you could definitely still do in time for Thanksgiving. So yeah, so thank you, Jenny and Sam. And then here are just a couple photos, cute pictures. So now we're going to look at some resources. So before I show you the resources on the pantry, which all the Turkeypalooza resources are under programming and then the Turkeypalooza tab, and that's where you can find a lot of information. But I would say the number one thing to do before you get started is to just talk to your clients and find out what they want and what they would appreciate around the holidays. Maybe it's not a Thanksgiving meal, maybe it's an activity, you know, it's kind of up in the air. It could be a lot of things, so it's great to connect with them. And then, so some more things on the pantry. There's a guidelines and timeline for Turkeypalooza, which is just a guideline for what to do for Turkeypalooza and kind of a rough timeline if you were to be making a meal and delivering it. And then there's also a Turkeypalooza sample schedule. And then we have a bunch of recipes on the pantry and and on Pinterest, so you don't have to have a Pinterest account to look at these, but we have a whole Turkeypalooza board dedicated to that. We also have press releases and media advisories on the pantry, which I have yet to update, but I will do that very soon. And you can use those to send out to your community or to connect with a communications person at your university if you guys are hosting an event. So just so you guys can see, this is the pantry. So these are where all the documents are that I just talked about. So the guidelines and timeline, the sample schedule, and then here's the MOU. And I know there was a question about that, but you only need the MOU if you're using YouGiveGoods. And then here are some other grocery lists for food drives. So if you're kind of unsure where to even start with a list, you can check these out. And then here we have some of the media events like the Turkeypalooza logo and the press release, which will be updated, so it's up to date for this year. And then we just have some more recipes, and we have the webinar from last year and the webinar from 2013 as well, if you want to hear from some other Canvas kitchens and what other people have done. And then some info on YouGiveGoods, so if you just want to check them out and learn more about them, this is the link that I was just showing you guys. It's what if you decide to use YouGiveGoods, it's what your page would look like. So I put that up on the pantry as well. So if you guys want to take a look at that, feel free. And then just a friendly reminder it's really great to post everything on social media and just to let your community and your school know what you guys are doing. It's great to post in advance if you are going to be having some kind of a canned food drive or bring your turkey to work day. And it's really great to take pictures throughout the event and just let the community know. So here's just another example. And then finally, so this is just a quick screenshot of what reporting an apricot will look like for Turkeypalooza. So when you fill out your November report, a Turkeypalooza box will automatically pop up, and you can record what your Campus Kitchen did. You can also include the Turkeypalooza numbers under meal and food distribution for extra holiday meal serve. So again, it automatically pops up, so you don't have to worry about where to find it, but here you can see where you can record that. So then just some reminders, the MOU for YouGiveGoods will be due October 28th or before then, but it has to be signed to me by the 28th. And since everyone here should be hopefully on the center, you can complete the action that's on there for attending the Turkeypalooza webinar. And then there's also a few other actions that I just added around Turkeypalooza, and one of them is just posting photos to social media and then talking to your PM about what you did, and then just posting on the center about what you did. So make sure to complete those actions for some points. And then lastly, just feel free to contact me or your PM if you have any questions. We're always here to help you brainstorm if you're unsure what to do or to answer any questions you might have. So does anyone have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and unmute you guys, or you can type them in the chat box. So here's a question about if YouGiveGoods is only a Turkeypalooza thing. So we really only advertise it around Turkeypalooza, but you can definitely use YouGiveGoods to kind of stock your pantry in the spring. So if you want to do like a food drive right now for some Thanksgiving items, you can do that, but you can also then add items for the spring as well. They'll just be delivered early. But if you know you're going to be having some big event coming up, this is definitely a really, really great time to go ahead and order those items now. And Melissa, I'm going to reach out to you separately after this about your question. Any other questions? All right, if not, then thank you so much for attending today's webinar on Turkeypalooza. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. It's ttrip@campuskitchens.org. And I am really excited to see what everyone does for Turkeypalooza, and just let me know, yeah, if you have any questions. Okay, thanks.